Here is an interesting question. How many different kinds of gametes will be produced by a plant having the genotype capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, capital C? In the options, we have 2, 3, 4 and 6. Now, what is it that is given to us in the question? We are given the genotype of a plant. What are we required to find out? We are required to find out how many different kinds of gametes is possible to be produced by this particular plant having this genotype. Okay, so in order to arrive at the answer to this question, we must be aware of a formula. And the formula is 2 to the power n. Okay, so to calculate the different kinds of gametes that are possible to be produced by a plant for which the genotype is given, this is the formula that we will be using. Now, what does n here stand for? N stands for the number of heterozygotes. Okay, so now let's look at the genotype of the plant that is given to us. It is capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, capital C. There are 3 genes here, right? So each gene in an individual will carry 2 alleles. One it receives from the male parent and the other it receives from the female parent. So there are 2 A's, 2 B's and 2 C's. Now, whether or not they are similar, we have to look at, okay? So if both the alleles for a particular gene, now let's consider gene A, you have capital A, both of them are of the same type, both are capital A's. Therefore, it is homozygous, okay? When you look at B, you have one dominant allele and one recessive allele. You have a capital B and a small b. You have 2 different types of alleles, which makes that gene heterozygous. Now, talking about the third gene C, you have 2 capital C's. Both of them are of the same type, so that also is homozygous. So among the 3 genes given to us in this genotype, there's only one gene that has dissimilar alleles, which is B. Okay, so N in this particular case will be equal to 1. One thing we must remember here, it does not matter if it is dominant or recessive. Only thing that we should look at here is whether the alleles are similar or dissimilar. Only if it is heterozygous, you will be considering that. Okay, so I will give you another example. If you have capital A, small a, capital B, small c, still the number of heterozygotes is going to be 1. Okay, so n will still remain 1. Now, this does not depend on whether the allele is dominant or recessive. Okay, so we are looking at how many genes are heterozygous. Okay, so in this given question, we have only one heterozygote, which is gene B. Okay, so it has one heterozygote, capital B, small b. So 2 to the power of 1 will be 2 itself, right? So this kind of plant that has this particular genotype will be able to produce 2 different types of gametes. One will carry capital A, capital B, capital C allele, and the other one will carry capital A, small b and capital C as the alleles. Okay, so if in a plant you have this particular genotype, then the number of types of gametes that are produced will be 2. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option A. Now, let's take a look at the question. What will be the color of pods in the progeny if a pea plant with green pod color is crossed with a pea plant with yellow pod color? Option A, all offspring with green color pods is only possible. Option B, all offspring with yellow color pods only is possible. Option C, all offspring with white color pods only is possible. Option D, all offspring with green color pods or offspring with both yellow and green color pods is possible. So the color of the pod is one of the 7 characters that Mendel chose in pea plants for performing his hybridization experiments. And the pod color is of it. There are 2 variants of pod color. Either it can be green or it can be yellow. Now, of the 2, the green pod color is dominant over the yellow pod color. Okay, so in the question we are given that a green color pod, a plant that contains pod that is green in color is crossed with a plant that contains a pod which is yellow in color. Since green is dominant over yellow, there are 2 possibilities here. Either the plant that is having green color pods is homozygous, which is the first possibility, or it could be heterozygous. Now, let's consider this to be the second possibility. Now, when you look at the first possibility, the green color pod producing pea plant will have the genotype capital G, capital G. I'm going to represent capital G as the allele that is responsible for the green color pod in the pea plant. So if it is homozygous, both the alleles will be of the same type. So it is capital G, capital G. Remember that the recessive trait is always going to be homozygous, right? So it can be represented as small g, small g. Now when you're crossing a homozygous dominant plant with a homozygous recessive plant, we end up getting heterozygous dominant plants. So all of the plants in the resulting progeny in the F1 generation will show the dominant phenotype, which is the green pod color, and all of them are going to be heterozygous. So this is what will happen. This is what the consequence will be if the green pea plant that we are considering as the parent is homozygous. Now let's look at the second possibility. The second possibility is that the plant, the green plant which we are considering as one of the parents, is heterozygous. So if it is heterozygous, it will carry a dominant allele as well as a recessive allele. Therefore, its genotype can be represented as capital G, small g. Whereas yellow will remain the same. It is always homozygous, small g, small g. When this type of a cross is performed, then you can see that in the progeny, you can find both yellow pod producing plants as well as green pod producing plants. Okay, so you can see both in equal numbers. There will be almost equal number of plants that are producing green pods, and a similar number of plants that are producing yellow pods. So this phenotypic ratio will be 1:1. So in possibility 2, if the parent producing green color pods is heterozygous dominant, then the offspring can produce green and yellow pods in the ratio 1:1. So when we look at the question here, the correct answer would be option D, because if it is homozygous dominant, the green pod producing plant, then we get all the plants that will produce green color pods. If it is heterozygous, then you will get a mixture of plants that are producing green color pods and yellow color pods in the ratio 1:1. Therefore, the correct answer to this question would be option D. Now, let's take a look at this question. In hybridization experiments conducted by Mendel, what is the correct sequence of steps he followed? So the steps that are involved in the process of hybridization is given here. It is not in the correct sequence, and we have to find out which is the right sequence of steps that was followed by Mendel. So the steps are bagging, pollination, emasculation, rebagging, selection of parents, and collection of seeds. Now before we look at the options, let us first go through all of the steps that Mendel performed in his hybridization experiments in the correct order. So he chose pea plants to perform experiments, and the first thing that he did in order for performing his experiments is the selection of parents. So he had to select parents, and for the selection of parents, he had to look at which parents had the character that he desired. So he selected parents with the desirable character. That is the first step. Secondly, after selecting the parents, remember pea plants are bisexual. That means they have both the male and the female reproductive organs within each flower, right? So the flower will contain both the stamen as well as the pistil. But Mendel was interested in understanding the inheritance patterns. Therefore, it was important for him to perform cross-pollination in pea plants, okay? Naturally, they undergo self-pollination, but he had to perform cross-pollination. For performing cross-pollination, you designate the plants that are involved in the cross, the two parent plants. One is designated as the male and the other one is designated as the female. Now, the female plant also has bisexual flowers. Male plant also has bisexual flowers. I mean, the one that we are considering to be the female will have bisexual flowers. The one that we have designated as male also will have the bisexual flowers. So, in order to prevent self-pollination in the plant which we have designated as female, we remove the male reproductive part from it. So when we remove the stamens from the plant which is designated as the female, the process by which the stamens are removed is referred to as emasculation. So anthers are removed from a bisexual flower which is selected as the female parent. Why do we do this? This is done in order to prevent self-pollination. After you emasculate it, a polythene bag is covered around the flower to prevent undesirable pollen from being deposited on the stigma of that particular flower. So emasculation is followed by bagging, in which we cover the emasculated flowers with a bag to prevent contamination with unwanted pollen. Next, we perform cross-pollination. Now, during cross-pollination, what happens? Now we have already emasculated the flower from the plant which is designated as the female. We have the plant which we have selected as the male. From that particular plant, we transfer the pollen onto the stigma of the plant which has the emasculated flower. Okay, so here you can see at first whichever plant we have designated as the female, from that the anthers or the stamens are removed. Now this process is what I refer to as emasculation, right? So after that, a bag is added, tied around it to prevent contamination from unwanted pollen. And after that, whichever plant is designated as the male, from that you will remove the stamens and dust the pollen onto the stigma of this emasculated flower. So that is cross-pollination. Okay, so after that happens, we cover the flower, the pollinated flower, with the bag again. Again, the reason is the same. It is to prevent contamination from unwanted pollen. So after this, the pollen will form the pollen tube and fertilization takes place and further development will take place, and ovary will transform into the fruit, which is the pod in case of pea plants. Okay, so after that you can collect the seeds, and these seeds is what will represent the next generation. So when you look at the steps involved in hybridization experiment, the first step would be the selection of parents, second would be emasculation of the female parent, and third would be bagging to avoid contamination of undesired pollen. Fourth, cross-pollination, dust the pollen from the male plant onto the stigma of the emasculated flower, tie a bag around it again, and then after fertilization and further development, the fruit will be formed. You can collect the seeds from the pod then. So here the correct sequence would be selection of parents, emasculation, bagging, pollination, rebagging, and collection of seeds. So that is represented in option C. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option C. Here's the question: which among the following is a recessive trait? In the options, we have axial flower position, green pod color, inflated or full pod, option D, green color of seeds. Now, all of these options have traits that Mendel had considered in pea plants while performing hybridization experiments. Okay, so and we have to find out which is the recessive trait. Mendel chose 7 characters in pea plants. Each of these 7 characters that Mendel chose had 2 contrasting variants that are called as traits. Okay, so here's a list of all the 7 characters that Mendel chose to focus on in pea plants, and here are the contrasting traits for each of these characters. In the options in this question, we are given axial flower, green pod, inflated pod, and green seed. And we are asked to find out among these traits in the pea plant, which one is recessive. Now, in order to answer this question, we must be aware of what is recessive, right? So, of these 2 contrasting traits, if you are crossing 2 pure lines, okay, so 2 pure line plants that are both have contrasting traits, then in the resulting offspring, which we call the F1 generation, you can find only one of the 2 traits being expressed. So in the F1 generation, whichever trait is expressed, that is considered to be the dominant trait, and whichever one fails to express in the F1 generation, that is considered to be the recessive trait. And in the question, we are asked to find out which is the recessive trait. So in option A, we have axial flower position. Now the character here is the flower position, and the 2 contrasting traits are axial and terminal. Axial means flowers are produced at the axil of leaves. Terminal means it's produced at the tip of the stem. Okay, so among these 2 traits, it is the axial flowers that you can see appearing in the F1 generation when 2 pure breeding plants that have axial flowers and terminal flowers are crossed. Okay, so axial flower position is dominant, so that is the incorrect answer. In option B, we had inflated pods. Pod shape also is one of the 7 characters considered by Mendel. The 2 variants are inflated and constricted. Among these 2, it is the inflated pod that is dominant, so that also is not recessive, so option B also is incorrect. In option C, we have green pod color. The color of the pod was one of the characters considered by Mendel. The 2 variants are green and yellow. Among the 2, it is green which is dominant and yellow which is recessive. Since green is not recessive, option C is also incorrect. Now in option D, we had green color of seeds. Seed color is one of the characters chosen by Mendel. The two variants are yellow and green. And among these two, it is yellow that is dominant and green which is recessive. Since in this question we were asked to find out the recessive trait, we now know that the green color of seeds is recessive. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option D. Let's take a look at this question. A pea plant heterozygous for violet flowers can produce offspring with white flowers if it is crossed with a. In the options, we have pea plant bearing violet flowers only, pea plant bearing white flowers only, pea plant bearing pink flowers only, and option D, pea plant bearing violet flowers or a pea plant bearing white flowers. So in the question, we are given a plant. Okay, so this plant is said to have violet flowers, and it is also given that that particular plant is heterozygous for flower color. Okay, so in order for this plant to produce offspring that produces white colored flowers, what kind of plant should it be crossed with? So that is what we are asked. So before we find out the answer, let us first understand whether violet colored flowers is a dominant or a recessive trait. So one of the 7 characters that Mendel chose to perform his experiments on in pea plants is the color of the flower. The color of the flower exists in 2 variants. Either it can be violet or it can be white. Among the two, it is violet colored flowers that is dominant over the white colored flowers in pea plants. Okay, so if we are going to represent the dominant and recessive alleles with alphabets, we can represent the allele that is responsible for violet flower with capital V and the allele that is responsible for production of white flowers as small letter V. So the genotype of plant that produces violet colors can be homozygous or it can be heterozygous. But in the question, it is given to us that the plant is heterozygous for the production of violet colored flowers. So when a pea plant that is heterozygous for violet flowers, it is crossed with another pea plant which is also heterozygous for violet flowers, then there is a possibility of producing a progeny that will have white flowers. Okay, so let's look at it here. We have the heterozygous plant for violet flower color. This is what was given to us in the question. When we are crossing this plant with another plant of the same type, which is also violet in color but heterozygous, when you're crossing that, there is a possibility of getting white colored flowers in the progeny. So when this particular cross is performed, you get plants that produce violet and white colored flowers in the ratio 3:1. So this is a possibility. In order to get white colored flowers from a plant that is heterozygous for violet color in flowers, there is a possibility of getting white colored flowers. Another possibility is when you cross the plant which is heterozygous dominant violet color flowers with a white colored plant. Remember, white color trait of flower is recessive in pea plants, so it is obviously going to be homozygous. So when you're crossing the plant heterozygous for violet colors with a plant bearing white flowers, then the ratio would be 1:1. This is similar to a test cross, right? So you would get plants that are producing violet flowers and plants that are producing white flowers in the ratio 1:1. So the possibility of getting white flowers by crossing this particular pea plant which is heterozygous for violet flowers can happen with pea plant that are bearing violet flowers. They have to be heterozygous. Or you can also get it when you cross that plant with a plant bearing white flowers. In this case, it will be homozygous recessive. Right? So the correct answer to this question is option D.